Hello, everyone, and welcome to Race 3 of the Ultimate Summer Showdown. My name is Russell Cox, Community Manager for NASCAR, and tonight I'm going to be doing my best to attempt to fill in temporarily for Hannah Newhouse, but tonight I am joined by Joey Stone, coming off his first ever eNASCAR win. Joey, I know you're going to bring in a lot of excitement, but you're also bringing in a lot of experience. What are you looking forward to most tonight?
Well, Rusty, first off, thank you so much for having me up here in the booth. What an honor it is to be by such a legend in the community. I'm with Rusty Wallace talking about eNASCAR. But like you said, it still fresh off that first win. It feels just like it was yesterday. And I'm so excited for these drivers as we head to such a tricky track known as the Tricky Triangle, Pocono. This track is going to be an insane battle of fuel, very hard ways of passing for these drivers. You're going to see a lot of aggression, but also a lot of patience, a crazy combo. I'm just really excited to see how this all comes together.
I completely agree. I think this might be the best race of the Ultimate Summer Showdown. But if you take a look on the screen here, it is our rundown of events and schedule for tonight. But we're going to kick it off with a race on the Xbox side. This field is completely stacked. There might be the most talent I've ever seen in that race on Xbox. You want to see that one right off the bat. And then about halfway through the show, we're going to do with the Mobius gaming giveaway for the monitor. So stick around for that. And then we're going to wrap it up with the PlayStation side. They're coming away from one of the best races I think I've seen. And they got some new names and faces out there. So I think we're setting ourselves up for a pretty memorable show here today. And
yeah,
hey, it's speaking of like the most memorable race we saw, let's take a look at the Xbox race from a few weeks ago.
Coming to the green flag in the air at Texas Motor Speedway. Daniel Buttafuoco with a huge jump, Rusty, early on.
Yeah, I got to point this out. When we come to the green flag here in these races, the leader can control it. It's a manual start to the race, so there is opportunity from the leaders and the guys in the back to kind of show some aggressiveness on the start. As we see Nick Walker pull underneath Elijah Waite.
Nose to tail for laps on end is another level of talent. And these guys have put in the work. They put in the work each and every night to be able to qualify for things like the Ultimate Summer Showdown.
Anything can happen pulling down pit road. As we're starting to see another pass for the lead. Buttafuoco is making a pass on the inside underneath Nick Walker. Daniel Buttafuoco is leading by over a second and a half, so he clearly got down and off pit road better than everybody behind him. Well, this will be interesting to see what's going to happen here, but Daniel Buttafuoco with over a 2-second lead, he's able to pull down pit road nice and smooth.
Are all nose to tail right now, all battling extremely hard for those transfer spots. So Buttafuoco loves to see that in his rearview mirror, because the last thing you want when there's a lot on the line is someone on your tail. And as I say that, Taylor and Moore around no, so Taylor and Moore now in your transfer spot, Rusty.
Transfer spot to get to the championship finale, but Tim Moore, as he's looking for the pass to pick up P2, he's the guy that just missed a race win by inches in the previous race tonight. Tim Moore is picking up P2. I think he's going to want to be aggressive here to the end.
We're on the final lap, though, here at Texas Motor Speedway for the Xbox race. The Ultimate Summer Showdown, round 2 coming to an end as Daniel Buttafuoco has absolutely obliterated the competition, comes home with the victory. Tim Moore, it's final now. Don't worry, didn't jinx him. Comes home in the second spot over Jeff No. So great run by all of those. Of course, those three will lock their way into the championship finale on July 22nd at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
And again, that Mobius gaming giveaway is coming up after this race, but now we are getting a live look at our Xbox drivers. This is one of my favorite views of the night. You get to see all the drivers in their element, preparing for the race, just some last minute emotions. Joey, when you're going through this as a race car driver with the cameras on right now, what's going through your mind?
You got to embrace it, Rusty. This is your time to shine. Let the fans, let everyone know who you are. Do not be afraid of that camera, because that camera could be your best friend. Take advantage of it. These guys are ready to go. Whenever that camera's on, I'm telling you, this Xbox field, they're competitive. They're in it. They're not even. Some of them might be looking at the camera. Some might not even look at the camera. They didn't even know that there's a camera even there. These guys are just ready to go. I just say embrace it. Embrace the moment and just have fun. That's what it's all about at the end of the day.
That's some really good advice, and I think these guys couldn't pick a better driver to take some tips from. But we got some veterans and some new faces out there. Looks like somebody made a quick break before hopping in the driver's seat. But let's take a quick rundown and look at tonight's race at Pocono Raceway. We're headed here for the first time in eNASCAR history on the NASCAR heat side, so it'll be cool to take a look at just the track length. We got the 2.5 miles. It's a travel. Every corner has different banking in it, so you got to set up a car kind of a little bit differently. We got 2 pace laps leading up to the green flag, and that just kind of gets the drivers lined up, and then they can do a manual start. And then as always, we have the 3 times tire wear, which always plays a huge factor in the race. Joe, you know, it seems like it always comes down to fuel mileage, but you also got to save the tires. How is that going to probably play out today at Pocono?
Well, Rusty, you kind of hit it right on. It's a very tricky situation. I mean, it's kind of ironic how we're going to tricky triangle when I say tricky, but when you're mixing saving tires and fuel, this really shows you what kind of drivers are out there. This is where veteran experience really comes into play. And we kind of had the same thing happen at Texas, where you had to kind of take care of those tires, but also take care of your fuel. You're going to see guys sort of coasting into turns like number 3, turn number 1, saving that gas, but also making sure that they're not turning too much in those corners to make sure the car doesn't get super loose at the end. I've been hearing a lot of guys reporting that later in these runs, these cars are getting very, very loose. So you're going to see a lot of tire control, but also they got to save that fuel as well. So it's going to be a very, very tough situation, but the best are going to come out on top.
Yeah, I cannot wait to see this play out, but it sounds like the cars are on the racetrack doing the parade laps right now, and we're about to get our starting lineup for tonight's race on the Xbox side. Let's take a look here. And on the front row, we got a couple of heavy hitters. Justin Brooks, the guy that's won just about everything in NASCAR. He's starting P1. He's on the pole. Louis Zader on his outside in P2. Right behind him, right behind Brooks, is Daniel Buttafuoco. That'll be fun to watch on the restart. And also on his outside is another veteran, Nick Walker. Row 3, a very strong row. Maxwell Castro. Keep an eye on Castro tonight. Chase Williamson is one of these young and up-and-coming drivers. He's got a lot of speed. Let's see if he can be there at the end. Row 4, Josh Taylor, Ryan Therian. And row 5, Elijah White and Jordan Bain. Those two guys are also making a big name for themselves in the Ultimate Summer Showdown. And then row 6, John Freeman and Ryan Clark.
Row number 7 is going to consist of Mitchell Kelly and Tim Moore, a guy who had a strong run at Texas. Then the next row, you got Jordan Dorozik, and then in 16, Drew Jua. Then in the next row, you will have Dakota Long and DJ Stanger. And then coming up next, a NASCAR Heat veteran of Tyler Dohar and Connor Cords. Then 21st and 22nd, you got Tyler Glass and Jeremy Noble. And then rounding out the field is going to be Sean Anderson and Jeff Snow.
And keep an eye on Jeff No. He's already locked himself into the championship finale, but that driver has shown speed every single week, so it'll be fun to see him race his way to the front. But it looks like the field is trying to get themselves gathered together here. And we still have one more parade lap. It appears Maxwell Cashers is getting back in line. But this is a little bit different than your typical race on NASCAR Heat and online lobbies. These guys are doing parade laps. They're controlling the pace themselves. Joey, what kind of goes through your mind right there as a driver when you feel the energy building up to the green flag here, and you got to kind of match your pace, also keep your car clean? Just talk us through kind of that experience as a driver.
Well, I'll tell you what right now, buddy. You're not feeling that excitement. You're feeling that clutch and saving the fuel right now if you're these guys. Some of these guys out here right now are saving fuel under these pace laps to make sure that they can make it the distance and whatnot. I'm telling you, whoever can make it the longest on the fuel here on this first run, if we go green, that's the drivers you're going to be wanting to watch here. But there's a lot of excitement going on with these drivers right now. I mean, especially for veterans, but even the new guys here that are trying to show themselves that they have a name, that they belong to be here. So I can't tell you, man, when those pace laps are hitting, you can feel it in the fingers, in the fingertips, and everywhere. So it's a crazy feeling.
And I can feel the energy myself coming right now as they're coming out of turn 3 for the final time to get their green flag. We have on the front row Justin Brooks, on his outside Louis Zader. Justin Brooks is going to control the restart, and the green flag is about to fly for race 3 of the ultimate. Oh, I jumped the gun a little bit early, Joey. That's how excited I was. We were just going through the short shoot. I got ahead of myself, but hey, the fact remains, 2 of the big guys are on the front row. Justin Brooks, this guy's been here. He's a veteran. I'm a little bit of a rookie on the broadcast right now, but this is going to be a very crucial start to the race. The guys that can kind of pull away and kind of get down to the bottom and kind of get away from the pack behind him, because track position is key. But let's rewind this thing one more time, and the green flag is flying at Pocono Raceway for race 3 of the Ultimate Summer Showdown. And I was letting those guys file into line right there, working their way all the way to bottom, single file, working together. That was very good strategy from the front 2 rows right there to get in line and get sorted out there, because you want to kind of work together and kind of pull away from the pack behind you when they're racing side by side, because as you see right there, they're already going 3-4 wide through the turn. A lot of action back there. Let's see if they can survive. A lot of contact. Joey, what are you seeing back there?
I'm seeing absolute craziness right now, Rusty. It is very hard to pass here at Pocono. We just saw the real NASCAR series race here recently. It's very, very hard to pass. You've got to take advantage of any opportunity you possibly have. So you're going to see a lot of these guys in the back who know what they're doing take as much of a chance to get these positions. So lots of slicing and dicing right now.
And one of the guys I'm looking at making a key pass right now is Maxwell Castro on the bottom. That is one of the drivers that were circled on both races tonight. He's pulling the double duty, but they all said that Maxwell Castro in the 1 car might have the speed to maybe sweep both races. So he's got a lot of work to do to drive his way up to get to the front. And I got to mention, he's usually racing on the PlayStation side, and tonight he's over on Xbox to go out there and try to race with Brooks, Buttafuoco, and Louis Zader. And Louis Zader is one of these up-and-coming guys who has shown he can compete with Brooks and Buttafuoco. So this could be anyone's race today in today's race.
Well, you're dead on right, Rusty. And we were talking about Maxwell Castro and Louis Zader. These guys were teammates last year in Season 2 for Chip Ganassi Racing. And to see both of them on the track at the same time, you know darn well these two are probably talking to one another and probably trying to work with each other to get those cars up to the front. Louis Zader has been showing himself a lot of strength on the Xbox side. And it's really cool to see someone like Maxwell Castro over there on the Xbox side as well. It's really cool to see how the PlayStation guys stack up with the Xbox guys. So this is really fun to watch.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of the guys pulling double duty kind of gives us like this, kind of like an all-star race, because usually we don't get the crossover, but during the Ultimate Summer Showdown, we've had a lot of it. And you get, like you said, you get to see where people stack up. It's kind of the fantasy situation when two platforms get to race together. We saw a preview of that during the Pro League Season 2 Championship finale when everybody came together and shared the track. And I love that as a fan of the racing, is you get to see the best of the best go at it together. And like you said, Brooks, Buttafuoco, Zader, and Castro, they get to do their thing. But up front, Chase Williamson, one of the young guns, is still holding strong in the top 5. And we're right on board right now with a familiar driver, I believe, Joey, on the number 4.
Oh yeah, that number 4. I know a lot about that number 4 car right there. But I actually want to talk about Chase Williamson for a second. Like you mentioned, Rusty, this is a young gun that is showing that he is a future face of NASCAR. There are certainly some things here and there that he possibly could work on, but he has shown so much speed already, and it's absolutely no shocker that he is up front right now.
And we're getting a good view right off the front of the 4 here. They're side by side. I'm still kind of a guy under the mentality of I want to get in line to race, but maybe the 41 feels, Josh Taylor feels like he can get around Nick Walker. As you can see, he gets pinched on the apron. That's okay. When you go, oh, we have a big wreck right in front of the drivers right there.
Oh!
I think a caution is definitely going to have to wave. The big one has broke out at Pocono. Joey, what happened there?
Oh man, I just got flashbacks of 2008 Casey Kane. Holy cow, that's the most cars I've seen in a Pocono wreck in years. That's just an effect of hard racing there. You're going for everything you possibly can. That's a tough break for a lot of drivers there.
Yeah, and it happened towards the front of the field, so it'll be interesting to see how that happened. Maybe it's just a racing incident, but it's really tight, and you're carrying a lot of speed through that corner there, and you're trying to maybe make a pass out of that tunnel turn there. So it'll be interesting if we can get a replay of that to know for sure what happened. But Joey, how does this impact the strategy of the race only a handful of laps in?
Well, we're only a handful of laps in, Rusty, so we know when the caution comes out, a couple laps are going to take away from the amount of laps that are in this race. Now, a fuel run just going all out is about 13 to 14 laps. So if we take away those laps that they just ran, you know they're probably going to come in, get fresh tires, and get the fuel needed to come in here. So if you take those laps away, there's a chance that the fuel strategy might be out of the window right now. They may be able to go full out the rest of the way, no strategy necessary. So you might see the guys with the speed climb their way up to the top a little bit quicker than before.
And it looks like we just took the green flag on the restart there. The cars are fanning out really wide. There isn't much of an opportunity on the front stretch with the way the restarts are controlled in this game. They're kind of they're controlled themselves through the game, so it's not a manual restart like you see at the beginning of the race. But the guys have already filed out and figured it out in the front of the pack like we saw the first time around. But I think, like you mentioned, If fuel is out of the window, these guys might be racing harder than ever back in the pack, but right now they're still singled up. But we're going through that little tunnel turn right there again. We're kind of got aggressive. We saw the big one last time around the track. So let's see if these guys are going to keep being aggressive and see if it's going to change the tone for the race. And we see somebody send it down there on the bottom. Let's see if they can wash up, maybe do a little bit of slider through 3. But Joey, as a driver right now, you flipping the switch? Is it go time with 13 to go?
I think it's go time. You got to go. I mean, those 2 laps that went away, you should have just enough fuel to make it to the finish here. I'd say you go for this thing right now, get as many spots as you possibly can, because if another caution comes out, you are coming down to get 4 tires and the amount of fuel needed. Track position is key, Rusty, at a track like Pocono. We have seen it day in and day out. Very, very important here.
And we see Elijah White driving his way up the field. He's taking advantage of this restart. And we talk about the tire wear and the fuel wear. Where do the tires tend to get used up the most on this racetrack? Or where is it easiest for a driver to maybe make a mistake and kind of burn up those, maybe the right rear and kind of just burn more than you want to at this point in the race? We see Elijah White diving on the inside of Castro. But yeah, as a driver, where is it toughest to manage the tires to kind of continue that long run speed?
Yeah, Rusty, so the tires here at Pocono, there's a few tricky spots that the tires really like to burn a lot. The way we see it here is the more turn you put in going through the middle of the corner is where your tires are going to burn. So turn 1 is a very heavy part here. Turn 1 is a very high bank into the middle, like deep down to the corner, and then you get a lot of banking up the corner. So whatever drivers you're seeing that are kind of apex in that corner, they're really burning that right rear tire. Turn 2 necessarily isn't that big of a corner when it comes to burning those tires. You're kind of on a flat banking, nothing really serious there. But turn 3, that is a very tricky corner when it comes to saving tires. You want to make sure you are turning that wheel the least amount possible so you are saving not only the right front, but the right rear. The right side tires are the ones that are going to burn the most here, with the occasional left rear burning as well.
And if you're Buttafuoco trying to chase down Brooks right now, you're probably spending a little bit more than you want to on your tires, so you don't want the guy to get away. But the draft effect tonight, it's set to low. And when you're getting a run down the front straightaway like we see here, this is probably the biggest draft effect you're going to feel on the racetrack, is right towards the end of the straightaway right here. You're really going to feel it, and then you can send it off in there. But you see him lift just a little bit of tad there. But Joey, what does the draft feel like as a driver? I know you can kind of feel it rumbling in the steering wheel and the controller when it's really getting into high gear. But it's kind of the great equalizer here at Pocono. Maybe not as much as at other tracks, but how are the drivers managing the draft in a race like this?
Well, Rusty, the draft here is also your friend here as well. When you have drafts and you're with a bunch of cars, it actually helps you save gas. So if some of these guys here that are sitting in the pack, you're not really seeing a lot of moving from some of these guys, they might be saving some fuel and waiting, taking care of those tires and whatnot. But if you're in that draft, some of these drivers may not want to pull out and make a move or so, Rusty, because like we said, it's your best friend. If you get out of that draft and you mess up that corner, where do you think most of these drivers are going to go? They're going to follow the draft. They're going to take advantage of that and take that spot away. So really, this race is more like a game of checkers right now. When do you make your move? Do you wait? What do you do here? It's a whole bunch. It's a big mystery, really, with how that draft is here.
And some guys are still kind of making their way forward. This is probably about the place in the run where your tires in the car and the setup starts to transition a little bit. Maybe it comes into guys' hands a little bit more strongly than others. So it'll be interesting to see. We have some comers and goers here since we have less than 10 laps to go here. So some cars could really begin to fade here in the next handful of laps. But out front, I mean, it's still, almost some contact there with the 14 and the 10, some Stewart Haas teammates there. Oh, they're still keeping it clean. Let's see if they can survive the corner here. What was that 3 wide?
Slicing and dicing, baby. Slicing and dicing.
I love it. I love it. Even though it's back in the pack, these guys are fighting for everything they can get. I love this as a race fan. They're just not out there to ride in the back. They're trying to work their way forward. Maybe a little bit of fun with each other out there. Maybe some teammate action. But you're right on board there with Daniel Buttafuoco. Looks like he got around Justin Brooks. That could have some big implications for the end of the race. But riding back in P3 right now, I believe that is a throwback car of the 22 of Chase Williamson. We talked about Chase Williamson. He has the speed, but he hasn't really been there at the end of these races. I think this is one of these races he needs to prove and show that he can do it. He has done it a handful of times, but I think he needs to improve the consistency of that and be there at the end of these races, not just to just be there and get a top 5, but put himself in position to win, because I believe Chase Williamson can win just about any race he enters himself in. So Joey, would that be kind of your recommendation for Chase? Just kind of be there at the end and then take advantage of maybe a potential mistake from Brooks or Buttafuoco?
Well, having raced with Chase a few times through the Winter Heat Series and whatnot, you can tell this kid's got a lot of talent. He's got a lot of speed, and he's a lot of fun to race against, too. It's like you said, Rusty, the consistency is the most important thing. We talked about before, it took me 2 years to finally win a race because there was times where either something happened to me that was my fault or something that wasn't my fault. It's just about putting the whole race together. If Chase can just figure out how to put the whole thing together, you're going to see this man. I really see a throwback to Buttafuoco back in Season 2 in this kid. He's got a lot of talent, just has to put all those races together.
And the part we have to mention, he's currently in the lock-in position to advance to the championship race of the Ultimate Summer Showdown. The top 3 drivers that haven't already clinched are going to advance, and Chase Williamson has put himself in that spot right now with Elijah White, and it looks like Nick Walker. If we're looking at, because the drivers that have already locked themselves into the championship are Justin Brooks, Louis Zader, Daniel Buttafuoco, so 3 of the top runners here. Then we also got Cody Giles, Jeff Noe, and Tim Moore. So Chase Williamson is looking to punch his ticket into that championship race, and he's in that perfect spot with Elijah White. So maybe they are kind of content running in line right here. I know if you're going for the win, Joey, you get kind of excited. And if you feel like the checker flag's in reach, maybe you'll overstep the edge, but if you want to get to that championship, Joey, are you just kind of content right now, kind of clicking laps to the end?
I'd say right now, Rusty, hold. Buy and hold it. Hold your position right now. If you know you can hold on to that top 3, I would hold on to it very, very securely. Pocono is a track where if you mess up and you overdrive that car a little bit, you are leaving a huge hole for someone behind you who gets a really good corner. They're going to get right on your bumper and pounce and take advantage of that. Especially for someone like Elijah White, who is an up-and-coming guy who has so much speed. If I'm Elijah or Chase, stay right there, hold the positions, and move on to fight another day.
And we're seeing Brooks take a little bit of a peek on the inside of Buttafuoco. They do have a history. It's kind of a fun rivalry here in the NASCAR Heat side of things. It came down to the wire of the Season 2 Pro League Championship, a little bit of bump and run contact, and they've had a little bit of history since then, coming down to the finish of these races with some contact. So it'll be interesting to see if Justin Brooks maybe will save some contact or some payback for late in the race. Usually he likes to do it clean and get around the guys how he likes to be raced. So keep an eye on Brooks and Buttafuoco out front. When you got 4 cars basically under a blanket right now, I'm just thoroughly impressed right now as Brooks sends it down on the bottom. I don't know if he's going to wash up and clear himself in front of the 13. Oh, he does. Justin Brooks is barely, lots of contact with Elijah White and Chase Williamson. Holy cow. Huge shakeup in the leaderboard, Joey. Looks like Chase Williamson has fallen back just a little bit as Castro sneaks up into the top 3.
Oh, we talked about it, Rusty. You've got to take your You've got to take your victories when you have them. I would not have raced that aggressively right there. I would have waited. Hold the position and everything. Now Chase has to fight his way back up there. This is only going to get more crazy as the laps are winding down.
Yeah, Nick Walker is right there to catch Chase Williamson as well. That's right at the transfer slot. Castro can actually punch his ticket into the Xbox Championship. He's already punched his ticket on the PlayStation side. So right now we're looking at Castro, White, and Williamson with Zader, Buttafuoco, and Brooks already locked in. So keep an eye on Williamson to see if he falls back into the hands of Nick Walker in the 11. But right now, it's Brooks and Buttafuoco out front. But I think the battle is really going to get a lot of fun for P3.
P3, that last spot to make it in. You know someone's going to send it on someone just to make it into that finale. And the crazy thing is, Rusty, these drivers, there's nothing for P3. All there is for P3, you make it to that finale and you race for the big grand title. So I expect someone's going to get sent. We may see some Kyle Larson, Ryan Newman, Phoenix vibes from 2014 by the time this thing is over here.
And we're not at a short track rail, one of the fastest racetracks in the game. So if you send someone and they're going to end up into the wall, there's no way they can rebound for that this late in the race. So keep an eye on these guys racing each other right now. But we're coming down to the finish of this thing, Joey. I think fuel still potentially could be a question mark. It looks like these guys have been kind of going all out. I think they're going to make it to the end, but you never know. We saw it on the Cup Series over the weekend. Some guys thought they could make it, and they all ran out except for Kyle Busch. So who knows? With 2 to go, maybe these guys kind of overestimated and are just stepping above their range here on the fuel mileage. I think it's something to keep an eye on.
It's definitely something to keep an eye on. Pocono has been the track full of the fuel-saving historic finishes. We saw it just this last weekend with Kyle Busch stuck in 4th gear, Rusty. He had no other gears. If he had a restart, so he was going to be done. This man comes back from a terrible streak of luck and wins Pocono on fuel mileage. Anything can happen here as they are approaching the last lap here, Rusty.
Yeah, we see Elijah White get in the wall, and they're all stacking up around him with Chase Williamson and Lewis Zader. That's going to be a fun battle for about P4. But Castro right now is leading the top 3 advancement to get to the championship. So Castro's in a really, really good spot right now. That was the guy I had circled kind of coming in, some of the other drivers as well. He's just running a really solid veteran race. I was hoping to kind of see him go up there and battle with Brooks and Buttafuoco, but you cannot argue with the results to race his way on kind of a inexperienced field around the Xbox drivers to kind of just go out there. Yeah, like I said, just go out there and perform. So thoroughly impressed by Castro. I think he's putting his name up there as one of the hottest drivers, the best drivers on the eNASCAR Heat side of things. And it's cool to see him race with the 2 of the best on Xbox. And we will see him compete for the Ultimate Summer Showdown Championship in a few weeks. But coming to the finish here, Brooks doesn't look like he's going to give up any ground to Buttafuoco. Buttafuoco is still right there. There might be an opportunity for Ascend. Joey, bring us to the finish.
Oh, bring it to the finish here. Let's see what happens with Buttafuoco and Brooks. Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going to happen here. Coming to the finish, though, Maxwell Castro just in a league of his own, and he takes it here at Pocono. Maxwell Castro wins it here.
24 comes up a little bit short. That's kind of a little bit deflating after putting a really big race like that. But yeah, Brooks and Buttafuoco, they bring it home nice and clean. Castro and P3, Zader, Williamson, Tim Moore, holy cow, showing his strength once again. But another dominant and performance from Justin Brooks. He's won more races than anybody here on the NASCAR Heat side of things. So we got to congratulate Justin Brooks in that 37. And I cannot wait to see him compete for the championship on July 22nd. And I got to point out, if you guys want to share the racetrack with these drivers, qualifying opens tonight at midnight. Head to showdown.nascarheat.com. Register, sign up. Qualifying lobbies will open at midnight, and you can have an opportunity to race with Brooks and Buttafuoco in the and Castor in the championship race on July 22nd. But Joey, what a first race to kind of lead off the night. I believe it was a little bit of an appetizer, but we had it was mostly just straight up hardcore racing on the Xbox side. A lot of veteran names, but also some rookie mistakes. What are your takeaways from that first race today?
Well, I gotta say, hands off to Xbox. A very clean but also aggressive race. We only saw 1 caution during that race, and it seemed like the drivers, the best drivers in this race, came out on top. Maxwell Castro, like you said, Rusty, arguably the hottest driver in eNASCAR right now. He has been winning left and right on everything he possibly can, and he was right there at Texas as well a few weeks ago. So I bet it feels really good for Max, especially to go on a different console, a series that he's not used to racing, to go over there and beat guys like Daniel Buttafuoco and Justin Brooks. It's got to be such an amazing feeling. Great race as a whole for Xbox.
Yeah, it just speaks volume to the talent of Castro. He's just delivers, I feel like, every time we go out here. But we also got to congratulate Chase Williamson. I believe we're going to take a look at the results here momentarily. But yeah, Elijah White, Chase Williamson, 2 of these young up-and-coming drivers are really making a name for themselves on this big stage, part of the Ultimate Summer Showdown. I like to see the young guns kind of step up and compete in the top 3 and try to beat and bang. A little bit of beating and bang with Brooks and Buttafuoco for the lead. So I like the aggression out of Williamson. It didn't end up costing him at the end of the day, but we'll see how that plays out in the championship race. But Joey, any other thoughts about that Xbox race?
Just like I said, hands off to the Xbox side. They've improved so much over time. The racing quality over there has improved, and the talent as well. Yeah, we saw Buttafuoco and Brooks be the main 2 guys over there, but you got guys like Lewis Zader that are moving up there. Other PlayStation guys moving up, Maxwell Castro, Chase Williamson, but also Tim Moore as well, who's been making a name for himself. The Xbox side of eNASCAR is only growing every day, Rusty. I can't wait to see what they got later on down the road.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think we're about to take a look at the results from the first race of the night. And we got, there it is right there. Justin Brooks picks up another big win with Daniel Buttafuoco right there behind him. Castro, P3, Zader, Williamson. You talked about Tim Moore, Elijah White. I think we're going to be seeing these guys' names up front just going forward for the rest of the Ultimate Summer Showdown and future events. Running on P8 is Nick Walker, P9, Josh Taylor, P10, Jordan Bain, 11th, DJ Stanger, and 12th, Ryan Clark.
And as you look at the rest of the results, unfortunately, I cannot see him at the moment, Rusty. So you might want to take it right here.
In 13th, we got John Freeman. 14th, Drew Jawab. 15th, Tyler Dohar. I know he didn't have the speed in his car today, but sometimes fuel mileage really plays in his hand. Didn't work out that way today, but I think we'll see him back in future events. 16th, Jeff No. He came from the back, didn't get the result he probably was looking for. 17, Sean Anderson. 18, Dakota Long. 19th, Connor Cortez. 20th, Jeremy Noble. 21st, Ryan Therian. 22nd, Tyler Glass. 23rd, Mitchell Kelly, and rounding out the end, then 24th, Jordan Durasic. But that is your race results for the Xbox side. But coming up, we have the PlayStation guys coming, and I got to congratulate Justin Brooks once again. And I think we're gonna get a word from our partners here. Oh, Ray! Sounds like we're gonna actually check out the highlights. I can't wait to see some of the beating and banging again. Let's check it out. And that BenQ ad always gets me hyped up. I'm so jealous because we're about to give away that monitor. We had over 10,000 entries for the BenQ NASCAR Heat 5 Ultimate Summer Showdown giveaway. Man, and the winner of the BenQ Mobius gaming monitor is Tim Johnson. Congratulations, Tim Johnson. You get to take home the brand new BenQ XQ2710 monitor. Holy cow, congrats, Tim. That's it's big time. I'm very jealous. Joey, I know how big of a big of a just factor it plays in your gaming and your racing. So Tim, enjoy the monitor, and we got to thank BenQ for being a huge partner and sponsor of the Ultimate Summer Showdown. And it's time. Hey, I think it's time for our second race. But I think before we head to PlayStation, maybe we'll take a look at the past highlights from Texas that I think you happen to be involved in.
They will take the green flag first as they get ready to start the second Ultimate Summer Showdown off. Green flag in the air for our PlayStation guys.
Chase Williamson is looking to kind of clear Maxwell Cash off the exit 2. It is very important to get to the bottom, so keep an eye on guys trying to get down there, maybe force their way down to the white line early on. He's right back on Josh Parker right on the bottom. I think he's going to be able to clear him here off the exit of turn 2. That is fantastic racing. That's textbook racing. Planet News, you see Tim Moore getting a run here on the inside, sends it down on Chase Williamson into turn 3 to take the lead, but Chase is hanging strong there.
If he wants to get that lead for more. Harbin, though, for the challenge for second to the inside of Williamson.
And your car is sideways, but look at Josh Harbin. He might actually have the car to beat as he's pulling underneath. Tim Moore for the lead. AK Flash 9, keep an eye on him. But we see drama coming to pit road. Chase Williamson gets turned. The drivers blending out in the racetrack. It looks like Mike Bross and Maxwell Castro, they work together to take the lead. We got lap cars in front of the leaders kind of shaking it up. We see Perky pull around Castro. Perky's had a hot rod the last couple laps, but Perky runs out of fuel before to go. We talked about it. If you're pushing it and pushing it, you're probably going to be short. I was going to talk about the pace. Oh, Mike Bross runs out of gas and Matthew Heel goes around and into the wall. I think we're still green, but the pace, these guys are playing games with each other. They're completely in save mode right now.
So you would have to think that they wrote that down in their notebook of this is not going to work, but we've got to battle for the lead once again. Moore to the bottom of Stone for the top spot. Moore has it. Stone's going to try and fight back. With Castro in the third spot in the catbird seat as these two continue to battle for your lead position. They'll come side by side.
He ran out of gas. Tim Moore ran out of gas coming to the finish. Holy cow, Joey Stone just picked up his first career win. Holy cow, what a finish, what a race. Look at the emotion from Joey. What? Oh my goodness. What an unbelievable classic finish at Texas coming down in the final corner with Joey, Tim Moore, and Castro. Joey, does it feel real yet, man? I know how emotional you were after that thing. I know you probably celebrated a bit, but yeah, how are you feeling coming away from that race and punching your ticket to the championship? Looks like we lost Joey here, but I think we might hop in. Hey, Joey, I got to say, does that race feel real yet? I know you were super emotional after that deal, but you got your ticket punched to the championship. What's going through your mind after seeing and reliving those highlights?
It's pretty cool. I mean, I'll be honest, for a while there, I didn't think I was ever going to have a highlight to look back at and look at that. But it's amazing to see, Rusty, to finally win one at the top level, especially against guys like Maxwell Castro and Tim Moore. It was just incredible. And it's great to get it off my back, and it's such a huge confidence booster and a motivation booster for future NASCAR as well, wherever that may go. So just incredible. It's just an incredible feeling. And maybe tonight we might see another first-time winner tonight, Rusty. So maybe that'd be something to see today.
Yeah, I love first-time winners, and you talked about Castro and Tim Moore. They're going to be in this next race on the PlayStation side doing double duty. I think we're about to take a look at the drivers in their drivers meeting right now, going on right now with Jay Pinnell. Let's take a look inside the rooms, the cockpits, the studios, everything they got going on. Some guys are on their phone. Looks like Castro is Castro might be saying, "Wake up, Castro! You're in the championship." He's promoting something there. But hey, Joey, yeah, anything else standing out to you before we go racing?
Oh, look at these guys, man. This is my family here. This is where everything started. I'll tell you what, it feels weird not being on the track with them and everything, but I get to sit back, relax with you tonight, buddy, make some awesome calls, and look at these guys duke it out. PlayStation is such an intense battle, Rusty. I can't wait to see what these guys do. I know a lot of the drivers in here. They're so talented, and I can't wait to see how the fuel's going to play in the tires. As you would always say, I'm so excited. So let's see what happens here.
I'm curious what's going to play out in this race. Usually the first race kind of is a little bit different tone than the second one. The PlayStation drivers might get a little bit after, a little bit more aggressive. They saw what happens after maybe an early caution. So I'm curious to see what will happen. Do you have any kind of predictions for the PlayStation side? Maybe a driver to watch for, maybe the action we'll see?
Oh, man, I'll tell you what, man. Max Castro just winning that Xbox race. I got to look at him, but I'm telling you, two guys that I think they're waiting for their chance to break out. Watch Mike Bross lead his way up to the front, but also watch Tim Moore as well. Can't wait to see what those two guys do. Maybe they can get their first win. Wouldn't that be something to see?
That would be really cool. We talked about the names, but now let's take a look again at the track. We're headed to the tricky triangle, Pocono Raceway, 2.5-mile triangle. We saw in the first race 3 different angle corners, so that's something to deal with for all these drivers. 20 laps plus 2 pace laps, so that's going to be under the leader's control. Like Joey talked about, they're going to be saving as early as that, so keep an eye on that. And the 3-time tire didn't really play a factor in the first race, but we're going to have to wait and see if it plays a factor here on the PlayStation side. Well, let's take a look at the starting lineup for today's race. And on the front row, performing double duty, Chase Williamson is on the pole with Maxwell Castro. Crazy how that works out. Right behind him in row 2, Tim Moore. Right on his outside, Josh Harbin. Keep an eye on Josh Harbin. Matt Smith in row 3 on his outside. Brennan Sutherland, Brennan Ader right there. What's up, Brennan? Row 4, Brett Russell, another guy I used to race with as far as back as the NASCAR Heat 3 days. So congratulations, guys, on making the show. Steven Yavorsky, Thomas Kohik, and John Freeman in row 5. And in row 6, we have Nathan Scott and Chris Perky.
Row number 7 consists of Matthew Montgomery and Mike Bratz. Then in row number 8, Jordan Doroziak and Daniel Bass. Then in the next row, you have George Taylor and Owen Bridges. And starting 19th and 20th, Scott Brown and Billy Holcomb. 21st and 22nd is Isaac Smallwood and Jose Ruiz. And rounding out the field is Joe Gornick.
That's a really stacked field, but also has a lot of new names. We talked about some of these drivers. They come from the public lobbies, maybe from a preset league, style of racing, but they're on the big stage right now. They qualified their way in. It looks like they still have one more pace lap to go. At a little bit of hiccup on my end, but hey, Joey, if you're coming into this race for your first time, maybe it's a new opportunity, like the 20 of Brennan Sutherland. You're looking at Brett Russell, some of these guys with a little bit of experience. What's going through your mind of your first time on the big stage right now?
Well, for those two, and I want to give a quick shout out to Brennan Sutherland and Brett Russell. These two come into my lobbies whenever I stream, and they've been in my lobby since NASCAR Heat 3 and 4. I am so proud to see them here. I'm so excited to see how they do in their first race. My advice to these two guys, focus on having fun. Run your race. Do not worry about your competitors. Run the track. That is your number one opponent. Keep the car clean, and everything is going to work out for the best at the end. That is my advice to those two and any of the newcomers in this race as well.
Yeah, an unbelievable qualifying effort for these guys for the first time in the race. I know what that pressure feels like to go out there and try to perform in your first ever event. So really impressed with the driver in the 20. And man, this is probably my favorite time of the race. Just the cars are side by side, getting geared up, ready to go. They're itching to go green flag racing. Just the nerves, the excitement, everything about it. I just feel like I'm in those cars with these guys, but we're coming around to the final corner. Chase Williamson is leading them down with Maxwell Castro on his outside. This is another heavy hitter field with a little bit of inexperience. I cannot wait to see how this plays out. And we're about to take the green flag at Pocono Raceway for round 3 of the ultimate summer showdown. And green flag, green flag, green flag!
You had to quote that, didn't you?
It looks like the drivers are going to send it off down into turn 1 and see if they can survive. Turn 1 does have the most banking, so you can have a little bit of a give and take. If you send it off in there too deep, a little bit more forgiving, but it looks like they're going to make it through there nice and clean. Chase Williamson out to an early lead with Tim Moore on his outside.
And like we mentioned before, Rusty, settle in, get in the line, take your positions as much as you possibly can. Don't overdrive the car as these guys are side by side. They approach turn number 2. Look for these guys to settle in here after lap 1 or so.
And it's already cool to see the guys that were in the first race just have the reps in them to be aggressive and put the car out front. Chase Williamson is pulling away on Castro. Castro didn't waste any time to get around Tim Moore, even though Tim Moore is pulling W. Oh, looks like we already have a yellow. That's going to completely change everything. And I think it's right at the window where we're going to have some major fuel mileage games being played here. But let's take a look to see if we can get a replay for the caution. Maybe a note from our it sounds like it was in the back of the pack. So like we saw in the first race, things get 3-4 wide, maybe a little lack of patience, and it sounds like they wrecked and collected the field. But we're going to re-rack them and stack them here. Joey, if you're the leaders, are you staying out here, or are you coming in and topping off and just get a little dash of gas in there?
It's a really tough call, Rusty. If you're someone like Chase Williamson or Max Castro, if you feel like your tires are good, you didn't really burn that much, stay out. But if you want to be safe, get the fuel, because like we always say, Rusty, the more fuel you have, the better chance you have of making it to the end. But as we see here, some guys did stay out, though. The 6th car and Josh Harbin, 1st and 2nd right now.
Yeah, Durasic takes the lead with Josh Harbin on his outside. Josh Harbin did master the fuel strategy, I believe, at Darlington a few weeks ago. So Josh Harbin has the experience and the veteran mindset to know how to manage the fuel. So keep an eye on that 95. He knows what he's doing out there, but he's sailing that thing high and wide. Let's see if he can clear Durasic off the high side, but they're still going to be side by side down the backstretch.
Here we go down the back straightaway into turn number 2. The inside is the preferred lane right here. You have that bottom groove. The bumps don't really affect these guys as much as it does in real life. Let's see what happens here in turn number 2.
We had 3 wide pass for the lead. Unbelievable move there. Looks like they almost got into each other. We'll see how the cycles out here. But crazy, crazy racing. I'm loving it. Oh, man, it looks like Jurassic's fading back a little bit with Chase Williamson, Castro, and Harbin going for it. But unbelievable racing. Just full send. A little bit different pace up front compared to the Xbox race. These guys are feeling it. They're just absolutely going for it right now. But Joey, what's going through your mind right now for Jurassic? If he's playing fuel mileage games and he's losing that track position, what do you do right now as you see him fading back? What is the game plan now for the 6?
Oh, buddy, just keep the car safe. That's the only thing you got to do right now. Run the track. Don't worry about these cars. Give them the bottom. Save your fuel. You've committed to a strategy. You've got to stick to it. Don't race these guys like you have 4 fresh tires. Take care of that car and save the fuel, because you never know. That might come back, and that might save his race right now. But look at this Rusty up front. 2 names that we know very well. Josh Harbin leading the race. That's no surprise. And the hottest driver in eNASCAR. NASCAR for a second. Ooh, they got a little held up there out of 2, though.
Yeah, a lot of contact right there, but I cannot believe the racing up front. There's still 2x2 back there. Kohik, Jurassic, Sutherland, Brennan still doing strong up there, performing well. This is really crazy racing. You see them kind of go wide. 22 goes through 1 and 2 really high there. I think you can get a little bit of momentum there, but you see him lose a little bit of the grip off the edge of the corner. Jurassic's looking on his inside here, but I love the aggression and just the way these drivers are getting after it. They're not afraid to race here with about 14 to go. But yeah, you see the leaderboard shaking up and down. Look at this. Look at just unbelievable racing at Pocono. That one of my favorite corners in the game is that little short chute, that little turn 2 at Pocono. It feels like you just send it down on that apron. I feel like there's some grip down there that you can take advantage of. But look at them go 3 wide through turn 3, Joey. What a race.
This race is really something, and I told you, man, PlayStation always brings out some incredible racing. Want to give a quick shout out to Thomas Kohik there in P number 3. He's running a very good race right now. I'm looking through this field, Rusty, and I'm feeling that energy, man. This is an incredible race at Pocono so far.
Yeah, look at him send it on the outside right there, getting some good rundown at the exit of turn 2, and I'm trying to catch my breath. I'm so worked up just how aggressive the racing is. This feels like one of those fun public lobby races with you and your buddies, or you're in your league racing. I love kind of the give and take as well. They're out there putting on a show, doing their thing. But Kohik gets around Castro, moves up into P2.
Wow.
That's a very strong move by Kohik. Kohik is one of those drivers that has already punched his ticket into the championship. So this guy is another one of those drivers that is making a name for himself in the Ultimate Summer Showdown. I love to see it. He's just going up there against the vets. But don't look now in P3. Brennan Sutherland in the 20 car. Now he moves up into P2. I got to ask Joey, are some of these drivers saving fuel? Are they saving fuel? What's going on here?
I'll tell you what right now, and this is what I'm thinking right now. I think some of these guys are trying to save a little bit more fuel. They maybe have a lap prediction right now of when they're going to pit. Some of these guys, though, think there's no point in saving right now. No one can save this fuel. You got to go for it right now. That's why maybe we see Sutherland up to 2nd, Kohik up to 3rd, Russell sitting in 6th place right now. And one more thing, Rusty, I got to do it. Dun-na, dun-na. Look who's in 10th. Mike Bross has entered the top 10. That's one of those guys we mentioned earlier who started all the way in the back. I can't wait to see where he ends up in this.
And the thing I'm looking at this leaderboard right now, you're starting to see some of the veterans of the eNASCAR Heat Pro League and just the Ultimate Summer Showdown Winter Heat. You're starting to see them have that experience play into their hand where they're backing up their pace a little more than some of these new names and new faces. They're kind of thinking this thing might go green, and they're just using that experience to just back up the pace, slow it down. But hey, if you're the 20 car and you're the 3 car, this is your first time out here or second time out here, I feel like you got to go out there and go full send and get some good TV time and make a name for yourself that way, because you never know. A caution could come out and completely change the fuel strategy and the game plan with everything. And as we say that, Brennan Sutherland takes the lead from Josh Harbin at Pocono.
And the chat is going wild right now, Rusty. These guys are going crazy for Sutherland and Russell in 2nd and 3rd. Guys that are known for being in public lobbies and everything. These guys are making a name for themselves, guys. But I can't stress this enough, Rusty. This has to do something with strategy. Something Josh may know that Maxwell Castro may know, because we saw Castro do so good in Xbox. He's back to 7th right now, 2.5 seconds away from the leader. Josh Harbin just gave up the lead to a rookie? There's got to be something going on here. We'll just have to wait and find out.
I absolutely love the mentality, though, some of these rookie drivers out there. I mean, you just got to kind of go for it. Maybe if you don't have the experience to know how to save the field, maybe that's your only option. You just got to go full send. As you see, we're riding on board with Josh Harbin. This is the driver that has probably more experience, or as much experience as anybody in the game. He's kind of cruising right now, managing his field, but he let Russell and Sutherland go, so keep an eye on Josh Harbin. He still probably believes that he's, oh, holy cow, Russell, Russell, big implications for Russell. Looks like Sutherland got in the dirt in turn 2, and it kind of messed with Russell and P2 and just washed up into the wall. Joey, what do you think happened right there in the hands of the 3 car?
I think what happened there, Rusty, I think he hit that grass. The rear of the car may have slid out. He had to save it. It went up and hit the wall. That is a tough break for the number 3, especially if he wasn't saving fuel at all. Maybe he can get some of this track position back, but I'm really curious to see how much damage he may have on that number 3 machine.
Yeah, it looks like the right front of the side really slid up in there and kind of pancaked it. Looks like we're getting a little bit of I'm playing a little bit of catch up here. Suddenly, maybe he got loose and kind of got on the wall himself. He's fallen back as well, just like we saw Russell a lap ago. But Josh Harbin has resumed the lead. The veteran who has kind of done this before that we talked about, kind of maybe the experience is playing into his hand a little bit. We're riding on board here. Oh, yeah, we're getting a replay of Brennan going through the grass, sending it. That's really going to slow you up here. But holy cow, the race is kind of just went upside down in a hurry. But it looks like we'll take a look to see where the guys shake out right now. Montgomery has taken the lead from Harbin, but his drivers, they're coming down pit road. That's Russell right there. He clearly didn't have anywhere enough fuel to make it to the end, but he's going to come down and top off. Joey, what do you think his strategy is right here?
I can't even tell what's going on right now, man. It's topsy-turvy everywhere. I can't tell who's saving fuel. I can't tell any of this right now. Montgomery's up in the lead right now. He may be someone who's not saving gas. I know Josh Harbin. I've raced with this guy for quite a few years now. He's taught me so many things. I don't think he's going 100% right now. He's got to be saving some type of gas. Maybe not, but he's keeping right in the tire tracks of Montgomery here. Time's only going to tell. Maybe in a couple of laps we'll know what's going on here.
I really put you on the spot there with that strategy. What we see right now with Jordan Dorosik, the BenQ Mobius overlay right there. And I got to give a shout out to BenQ. BenQ is the global leader in display technology, known for extraordinary color performance and groundbreaking monitor audio advancement. The company debuted the Mobius Gaming Monitor Series in 2020 to rave reviews, and the newest model, the EX3415R, has been engineered for high-end gaming audio performance. So thanks again to BenQ for being a part of the Ultimate Summer Showdown. But yeah, Joey, you talked about the veteran, Josh Harbin. He's right where he wants to be. He's kind of controlling his own pace, running his own race. But I think some of these guys, like you're looking back at Castro and Tim Moore, we saw at Texas, that group of guys, you were running with those 2 drivers. Do you think they're communicating right now in the Zoom call? Is there any type of communications between the drivers to say, hey, back up, let's get in the draft and save together? How are these drivers working together, and maybe not at this point in the race?
Well, I'll tell you what right now, Rusty, the way this usually goes here is the Zoom calls really, there's not really that much communication as many people may think. You kind of go out there and run your own race, and if you feel like you're on the same strategy as somebody, you'll kind of mention, be like, hey, are you pitting this lap? Hey, what are you doing? Sometimes they'll let you know, sometimes they don't. They don't want you to know because they think that's the winning move, but we got some crazy racing here in the back as well going on. There's racing all over the place right now. This is incredible to watch, but seeing Tim Moore and Castro right there with each other is giving me Texas flashbacks right now, but I'm the one sitting here in the chair smiling and having a great time. These guys are racing their butts out to go get a win. But I definitely think there is some sort of strategy here, Rusty. These guys have still not pitted yet. That can only mean one thing, Rusty. They're trying to make it on the fuel. I cannot wait to see what happens here in the closing laps.
Yeah, with 6 laps to go, I don't know if they can make it. It's making me nervous. I feel like they're more than just 1 lap short. I'm convinced they can't make it, but if they have to come down, you're going to have to like really look at that gauge, that fuel meter, and just decide to pull off and maybe get a little splash of gas. Definitely, you're probably not taking tires. But are these drivers committed to the end? You got to believe. Montgomery's pulling away. Maybe he's doing the strategy that we saw from the 3 and the 20, just going kind of full send, hoping for a yellow. But you got to look again at these veterans. About second on back. Jose Ruiz, he's got experience as well out here. So keep an eye on these veterans. Just it could come down to the last lap, like we just saw this previous weekend. These guys just coming down to veteran experience, figuring out how to like manage the throttle. And are there any tricks these guys do with either the steering wheel and the pedals, or maybe the controller, to kind of take advantage of a fuel mileage race, Joey? Like how what are the typical different types of games these guys can play?
Well, there's a lot of games that can be played right now, but I'm going to go ahead and try to break down, I think, what's going to happen here. I think Montgomery knows that he can't make it on gas. What his intention right now is to get the biggest lead he possibly can, sort of pulling a Chase Elliott Coda type of thing. Get the biggest lead you possibly can, come down and get a splash of gas, worst case scenario, or get the caution. I think right now Josh Harbin is clutching his car. He's giving me some Tony Stewart Pocono vibes from about 2009, 2010, clutching it, right before turn number 3, saving as much fuel as possible. There's no reason why Josh Harbin should be 5 seconds back based on speed. Harbin is committed to a strategy, and so is Tim Moore. But hey, look closely there, Rusty. Look who's in P3 right now. Tim Moore is only less than a second behind Josh Harbin. That could be the battle for the win right there from second, third, and even fourth.
Yeah, that's really interesting pace out of the 77. We saw a few weeks ago at Texas, it came down to the exit of the last corner. I thought he ran out of fuel, but he might have just made a little bit of contact. So at the 77, Tim Moore is looking for some redemption to pick up that win. We all know he has the speed, but I think he could be on the pace to finally put it together and get his first career win as he takes the lead from Josh Harbin and Montgomery as they pull down pit road. So this race is really heating up with Moore and Williamson. Williamson is on his back bumper. Joey, if you're Williamson, are you kind of just riding here in his draft, saving more fuel? Or are you pushing this guy to try to burn up more fuel than he wants to use?
I'm riding and saving right here, Rusty. There's no point in passing Tim Moore right now. Save the gas. You're not going to win this race with 3 to go. Pocono is a track where you have that draft there. You can get the run and make that move at any corner of the track. I would save my gas, let Tim burn his stuff. Tim cannot save fuel out front. You don't have any draft. You don't have any help. He's a solo man out there. He's his own army. Let Chase save the gas here, Rusty. That's my call right here.
And as you say that, Chase Williamson just pulls right around him. So maybe the flip the script in here, Tim Moore is just going to back it up even more. But it's tough to let the guy go this late in the race. I know you've done this a couple times on the racetrack. You just kind of sacrifice it. We saw it at Texas. You gave up the lead coming to the white flag. Just how tough is it to do that? What's going through Moore's mind right now? Is he just trying to get to the end, or is his mind just be there to maybe steal the win? Or I'm just with 2 to go. Anything can happen fuel strategy-wise, Joey. I'm starting to get nervous.
No, I'm starting to get nervous too here, man. Tim Moore, man, I had to do it to him, man. I took the win away from him in Texas. A lot of people love this guy. He still loves the community. Such a bright spirit, a lot of talent. People want to see him win. I think right now, stay behind Chase. Save this gas a little bit. You're right there, Tim. Come on, you can do it, Tim. Get the run on Chase and make things happen here. He's only staying about 2 car lengths back. He's got time. He's got the move. Let's just see what happens here.
Hey, he's going to have to get a nice draft here coming down for the final lap here at Pocono. Tim Moore looking up for his first career win. I don't know if he's got enough or if his car can get to Chase Williamson, but I got to take a look at the guys that could potentially punch their ticket into the championship finale. Williamson, Smith, and Bridges, those guys are looking like the guys that could get to the championship finale the way they run, but fuel could come down to the last corner and really shake things up. But right now, Chase Williamson is pulling away for Tim Moore, running a really strong race, but we're looking right there on board with Kohik in the 12. Man, what an unbelievable finish to this race. I'm shocked if these drivers can make it, man.
This is crazy to see. That pit stop there on that caution, that could have been just the amount of fuel they needed for Chase Williamson and Tim Moore to make it to the finish. Crazy. Let's see if they make it.
And Tim Moore's closing on him. Looks like Chase Williamson might be running on a little bit of pace, maybe playing a little bit of games, but Chase Williamson is going to collect the checkered flag at Pocono Raceway. Congratulations, Chase Williamson. He also just punched his ticket into the championship of the Ultimate Summer Showdown on the PlayStation 4 side, and I believe he just doubled up with the Xbox as well. So congratulations. Unbelievable day for Chase Williamson. Oh man, we're seeing some of these guys cross the finish line here on their different strategies, wondering maybe what could have been today, but that caution that came out really changed everything. It was right at that point where some guys decided they're going to gamble and try to stay out and maybe steal a win, hope for a yellow, but some of the guys, they played probably the long game strategy, the safe strategy, came down, got fuel, topped off, and saved just enough to make it to the end. So unbelievable drive by Chase Williamson and Tim Moore. Oh man, Joey, two completely different races. We got on the Xbox side, they were kind of going head to head. PlayStation started off as just super aggressive, just intense 3-wide battles for the lead throughout the pack. Then the yellow came out. Fuel strategy. I feel like these things come down to just the unknown every single week, but you got to give credit where credit's due. We talked about inexperience out of Chase Williamson, but he put the total race together today and picked up the win. Oh man, Joey, just talk us through kind of your emotions coming away from that PlayStation race.
Well, first off, once again, hats off to PlayStation side. That was some intense racing there. When that caution came out, I thought it might have picked up a little bit more. I thought we might see a little bit more craziness out of them. There's a lot of talent and a lot of speed over there, but we saw the strategies really start to change there. Josh Harbin and the number 6 car, they stayed out, and they were hoping that they can make it on fuel where something would happen, but unfortunately it did not happen. And those who pitted on that last pit stop, they had just enough fuel to make it. And Chase Williamson, Rusty, we talked about it. We said he needs to put a whole race together. He got his redemption from Texas after that wreck on pit road, and he is a winner here during the Summer Showdown. He is racing for a title on the PlayStation side. That's something I'm used to racing against, Chase for a title. So that's going to be fun in Atlanta Motor Speedway.
I cannot wait for that. And July 22nd at Atlanta, that's going to be a fantastic race. But let's take a look at the results from today's race. Once again, Chase Williamson is your winner with Tim Moore right back on his bumper. Back-to-back races. Thomas Gohick in P3, Matt Smith P4, Owen Bridges in 5th, John Freeman 6th, Chris Perky 7th, Steven Yavorski in 8th, Daniel Bassi in 9th, Mike Bross in P10, Maxwell Castro faded to the 11th, and Brendan Sutherland, the rookie, rounds it out in P12. And maybe I'll take this one again here, Joey. Matt Montgomery in 13th, Nathan Scott in 14th. In 15th, we have Brett Russell. We saw the strategy and just his little incident there in the middle of the race kind of take it away from him. In 16th, Josh Harbin. Oh, man, the fuel strategy did not go his way from up, put himself in position to win, faded late. But in 17th, Jordan Durasic. 18th, Jose Ruiz. 19th, George Taylor. 20th, Billy Holcomb. And then the rest of these guys did not start today's race. But what an unbelievable day, and an impressive battle on the PlayStation side. But it sounds like we're about to take a look at the highlights from today's battle on the PlayStation side. Yeah, congratulations once again to Chase Williamson. He's one of our 6 drivers that punched their ticket into the Ultimate Summer Showdown Championship race. That's going to be July 22nd at Atlanta. And before we go, I gotta say, qualifiers open at midnight. You can register right now at showdown.nascarheat.com, and maybe we can see you out there on race day in that championship race. So the lobbies will open. Joey, you're going to be out there with these 6 drivers that advance, and plus the other drivers that have punched their way in. Just what's your thoughts and just kind of emotions as we're leading up to the big championship finale?
Well, first off, I'm really excited to be racing for a championship at my home track of Atlanta Motor Speedway. That's certainly a dream come true for sure. And it's going to be so much fun. There's so much talent and so many different traits of great driving from all these drivers that are racing for this title. But even for the qualifiers too, for some of these guys that did not make it in through the races, this is their chance to make it in based on qualifying and speed. So I cannot wait to see who makes it into the finale. I am really excited, Rusty, especially after winning at Texas, which is a 1.5 mile track. We're going to Atlanta Motor Speedway, so you might want to watch out for me there. You might get a little bump and run from me. You might get a little bit of a bump and run from me. Just saying, for that championship. Desperate times call for desperate measures.
I like the mentality, and we're gonna have to rewind this in a couple weeks and bring that clip back up. But let's take a look at the drivers that did advance and that are punching their ticket into that Atlanta race with Joey. Once again, Maxwell Castro, Chase Williamson, and Elijah White on Xbox. On PlayStation, Chase Williamson doing double duty, does it, picks up the win. Matt Smith and Owen Bridges. So we have some veterans and a lot of new names making their way into contention with these veterans. So I'm telling you, I cannot wait for this championship race, July 22nd in Atlanta, man. Man, what else can I say, Joey? Any last thoughts before we take off here?
Just gotta say congratulations to Justin Brooks and Chase Williamson for their wins. My bad on that call during the Xbox race. Some technical issues on my part there. But really cool to see Justin Brooks win. I know he's been going through some things, so that's awesome to see him pick up that win. And Chase Williamson, we didn't necessarily jinx him. We hyped him up. Really good to see him put that race together and get some vengeance after that Texas incident. But Rusty, Atlanta Motor Speedway, single groove, bumper to bumper, you are going to see tempers flare. Maybe even from me. I'm just saying. You may see a different side of me after that race.
Well, last time we were there, it was 3 wide at the finish line, so I cannot wait to get to Atlanta. But I got to say, on behalf of Motorsport Games, I'm Russell Cox. With me, Joey Stone. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, watching, hanging out with us tonight on this broadcast. All the drivers, unbelievable job tonight. We'll see you next time. I love you guys. Peace.